Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention. My name's Gary Call. I'm principal at Clarkston High School, and I get the honor of kicking off this absolutely wonderful event in beautiful Depot Park here today. We come together to celebrate as a community the successes of many of our students, student-athlete, extracurricular club members, and we're very happy that everyone could be with us here today. So without any further ado, I would like to take a quick moment and recognize those members of our Destination Imagination teams. Why don't you guys stand up and wave to the crowd, everybody? State qualifiers, global finalists, and if everyone can hear me in the back, I'd like to warmly welcome and invite them up to the gazebo, the back-to-back state champion Clarkston boys basketball team. Come on up, fellas. Same places as last year. Now we'd like to invite up the state champion Clarkston Winter Guard. Being good as usual, Tim. Thank you, Gary. Thank you. And last, but certainly not least, we'd like to invite, joined today by the Technados, our world champion, Team 27, Rush Robotics. And now to kick things off with a little school spirit, I'd like to hand it over to the Clarkston High School Madrigals and members of our marching band to lead us in a rousing edition of the Alma Mater and Fight Song. Thank you, Madrigals. Thank you, Mr. Lewis, and members of the marching band. At this time, I'm very happy to invite up to the podium Miss Elizabeth Egan, School Board President.
On behalf of the Board of Education, I'm very privileged to extend congratulations to our state basketball and our Winter Guard champions and Team Rush robotic champions. And I can't resist. My daughter was in color guard, so I'm especially proud of this group. I was going to wear my mom color guard jacket, but it's too warm. But I want to share a little journey that we took with the Board of Education and our administration about 8 years ago. We started to redefine our educational culture and vision. As change agents often do, we encountered some skepticism, resistance, and a belief that our changes would not positively impact student achievement. But here we are today, honoring 3 state world champion teams from one great community. And we have more champions in the making as we celebrate today. And I certainly want to mention Destination Imagination. There are some wonderful kids over in this group, too. So I'm just going to take a brief moment. I timed this. I'm under 3 minutes. I won't be long. This week at our Board of Education meeting, we celebrated the 2018 Senior Scholars at our Monday meeting. And they wrote meaningful experiences, which Mr. Call read to us while we were shaking hands. And their meaningful experiences were supposed to describe what made their achievement possible. And when I listened to them, it really made me realize that the reason why we're here today is the same reason why those senior scholars did so well academically. So this is what they had to say. These are their words. Optimism. So if you're a Clarkton optimist, you should be very proud that you have made a very positive impact on our students. Value of hard work. Goals. Focus. I learned how to learn. So that says a lot about our teachers and coaches. I'm not afraid of change. Change can lead to great things. I take responsibility for my learning. Tragedy, goal, or success, our Clarkston community rallies around us. We support one another. I think that speaks very positively about all the people that are here today, so thank you for joining us. Studying was worth the effort. And one of my favorites, this is not a word, belongingness. But if we could define this word, I think it would really mean a heartfelt emotion experienced by Clarkston students. So our vision is clear. Each student is engaged in their educational experience, so they gain a sense of self, perspective, responsibility, and contribution. These are experiences not measured in a standardized test. They are the launch pads for lifelong success, and the class of 2018 lives and breathes our new culture. Today we celebrate these Wolf teams that have led the pack in their own unique way, and we congratulate each and every one of you. We are beyond proud. At this time, I'd like to introduce my fellow trustees on the Board of Education. Mrs. Kelly Horst, Vice President. Mr. Greg Need, our Treasurer. And Trustee Mrs. Susan Boatman. So I hope this many people show up at our next Board of Education meeting. It's this Monday, because we have another celebration. We're celebrating staff recognitions, newly tenured teachers, and our new superintendent. So at this time, it is my honor to introduce Mr. Sean Patrick Ryan, our Clarkston Community Schools' new superintendent.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Miss Egan. And I'm flanked by my daughters, Evan and Ellie, who are proud younger wolves and kind of getting an inspiring look at what the potential is to be a Clarkston student. I'm tremendously proud to be your superintendent, and I feel like it's been an amazing opportunity to be part of Clarkston Community Schools over the years, and I can't say enough about our school system and our community. And I think it's amazing to see the breadth of success inside Clarkston, inside and outside of classrooms. We have a standard in Clarkston. That standard is excellence, and I see it in everything that this district touches. This community shares that sentiment, and we have become this year truly a community and city of champions. If you look at the students that we're honoring today, they come as part of our basketball team, culinary arts, Winter Guard, Team Rush, and Destination Imagination. Could you really think of a more diverse group of students, both in age and honestly, I don't get in too many groups where I see guys that are actually taller than me, so behind me, respect. Truly, we have a collection of students here that have shown excellence in so many different ways. But if you stop and think about it, there's a lot in common between all the kids you see behind and on the sides of me. What I found, to get to the level of achievement that they have made, they have a sense of dedication, commitment, hard work, a sense of teamwork, and most importantly in Clarkston, the real difference, uncompromising character. We truly build that. Thank you, ma'am. Amen is right. In a lot of communities, they might consider those quote-unquote soft skills that these students are learning. To me, they're going to carry these experiences forward and lead to a lifetime of success. These students know how to struggle. They know how to come out on top. They have grit. There's no better lessons in life. To all students, being engineers, scholars, chefs, and athletes, we are so proud of you. Your entire community is 100% behind you. Is that right? Yeah. Thank you. You are now all champions. I encourage you to carry this as part of your story, to hold on to the feelings that you have now, both in good and bad times, to know that when you put your mind and your heart towards something, that you can meet that level of success in anything that you face. I want to thank our community for coming out and supporting you all. And as you move forward into your futures, I wish you the absolute best. And right now, it's my honor to introduce the Clarkston Mayor, Steve Percival.
Hello. Well, obviously I'm not Steve Percival, but my name is Jonathan Smith. I'm the city manager filling in for Steve. Steve had a family event today and was sadly unable to attend, but he passes along his best wishes. So I'm going to be short and sweet here today. It's all about the kids, not about the city. But on behalf of the entire city, I pass along a huge congratulations to the state champion Wolves basketball team, the state champion Winter Guard team, and of course the world champion Team Rush team. It's just amazing accomplishments. The accomplishments of these teams, each in their own way, in their own regard, is nothing short of amazing. I think the residents would agree. The city, the residents, the businesses here are so proud of what you've accomplished. You put Clarkston on the map. People now know that Clarkston is a force to be reckoned with. So for that, I thank you, and once again, congratulations to all three teams and the upcoming teams for all that you've done this year. It's very, very much appreciated. Thank you. And with that, I will turn the mic over to Mike Lewis, the director of the... Right behind me.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I almost feel like I need to give a little bit of background to what this group actually is, because when you think Winter Guard, I'm not sure how many people in the community really know what these young ladies have been working really hard at this for the last couple of years. Winter Guard is actually an offshoot of the marching band. It takes the color guard from the marching band, moves it indoors into a much better place for them to perform because it gets rid of all the elements. But as a result of that, they're able to do much more complicated things and much more involved from a dance standpoint, from a equipment standpoint, other pieces of equipment that you wouldn't normally see out there. So that's what they have. And there's over 100 groups in the state of Michigan that compete in state finals every year. And we were fortunate this year to have this wonderful group of individuals that worked extremely hard, starting from the beginning of the season, which is way back in November. Pretty much they finish up with marching band and jump right into Winter Guard. And state finals were the first weekend in April. So they were working hard a couple nights a week and on weekends all the way through those 4 months of that season. And on vacations. So when many of us were gone on Christmas vacation, they were in having one of their Winter Guard camps and learning the show and just the dedication and level that you see, a level of commitment that you see from this group of people is really inspiring to us old people, or at least this old person that we have here. So, but it's just a wonderful group of kids to work with, and the level that they've been able to achieve in a short 3 years. This group didn't exist 3 years ago, and some of these students have been with it all the way through, and some have jumped on board this year, and it's just great to see everything that they've been able to accomplish, and I know that there are even better things down the road here. So congratulations, ladies. And at this point, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Paul Brown, Independence Treasurer.
We have something right. Come on up.
We're punting?
No, we're not punting. It's just more awards. I'd like to bring up Tom Middleton from the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, who has a proclamation.
Thank you. Yes, I have a proclamation, and I, quite a while ago, I'll have to say, I went to a Winter Guard finals, and it was at the Silver Dome, which means it was quite a long time ago. Silver Dome doesn't even exist anymore, but it's really a fascinating event to watch. It's very entertaining, and I congratulate you. On the Board of Commissioners, quite often commissioners get a chance to introduce winning teams from their area. And when I talked about doing this here rather than at the Board of Commissioners, the chairman of the board said, that's great, because you would just put everybody else to shame when you get up there and say, Clarkston did this and Clarkston did that. And I said, and you know, the softball team is maybe on its way to get another state championship. He says, yeah, you better keep them all at home. They're going to run you out of the commission otherwise. So I won't read the whole tribute, but Oakland County is proud of the talented and dedicated and noteworthy young people who represent our community so honorably in a statewide stage. And with that, I'll give this to you, and then I will get copies for each one of the participants. This plaque will hang somewhere in the school, but you can have one in a drawer that you can keep forever. So, thank you.
And we'd like to bring us up with us today, CHS graduate, State Representative, Mr. Jim Tedder.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Certainly every day is a great day to be a Clarkston Wolf, but especially today when we can once again find another opportunity to celebrate the young people in this community. And, you know, like the very park we're sitting in right now, I remember playing here as a kid myself, and these trees were much smaller, and these trees have certainly grown, providing a little more shade than they used to. But the folks right here around you serve in many respects like these trees, and though our community's gotten bigger and we have a few restaurants larger than we used to be, our traditions continue, the values we embrace continue, and it's all symbolic and embodied in the wonderful successes of our young people. So today it's my pleasure on behalf of myself, Senator Jim Marlowe, and Governor Rick Snyder to present the Clarkston High School Winter Guard with this special tribute for myself and my colleagues at the state of Michigan. And as many of you know, this is the first Scholastic AA Division State Championship since 1978. So that's just quite a remarkable achievement. So let's hear it for these young ladies. And of course, it wouldn't happen without certainly the leadership of coaches Sarah Weingartz and Hadley Smith, Skylar McKenzie, and others that were such an integral part of your victory. So congratulations, Saginaw Valley State University, April 7th, 2018. I hope will be a date that you remember for the rest of your lives. Congratulations.
I'm going to redo this introduction because when we started planning this, Paul Brown, little known fun fact, former Clarkston High School basketball player, and even though Coach Fife is one of the longest tenured coaches in the state of Michigan, Paul was before Dan. So we won't age you, but Paul.
Thank you. So I actually wrote something I was going to read, and I've been here for about 2 hours, and I bumped into some people, and just thinking about championships and what things were like when I was here. I was in the marching band, played trombone for many years. I wouldn't take that away from anything else I did at the school, even playing on a great basketball team. And I tried to think of a connection to robotics, but we didn't have robotics back then, so I didn't know what I was going to do. Obviously, I have a basketball connection. And then I talked to the coach here, and it turns out I ran track with her husband at Clarkston. And so this community is so fantastic, and I love this community. And I look around, and right now I'm looking at a guy who coached me in baseball when I was a little kid, Mr. Collier and his wife. And I see Mr. White, who was my principal at Sashabaw, my vice principal. And there are people in this crowd, and if you understand what these championships are going to mean, it's not just about now. It's about the fact that you've woven into the fabric of the community things are going to be remembered for decades. I had a guy come into my office a few months ago, and I was paying his taxes, and I talked to him about growing up here, and I graduated in 1980. He said, "Did you play basketball?" I said, "I did. I was on that team." He said, "My dad took me to every game that year. I was 10 years old. I was in Lansing when you guys lost." He said, "I cried." I said, "So did I." You know, we lost one game that year. Unfortunately, it was in the playoffs and the semifinals. And so we got together with that team, about 8 of us, a few months ago and had some dinner. And we talked about you guys and how proud we were that you guys finally brought it home the last 2 years, Coach, and players. We talked about the fact that it was obviously we would have beat you. Because any good Clarkston team is going to say they would have beat anybody, and I understand that. You can ask the coach if he thinks we would have. We think it would have been a good game, our age, your age. I've lived here 50 years now. I can say that this year officially. My mom brought us here in 1968. And so for all of you, what you've created for us, as I think about my memories going back 40 years, you're going to have that now. And people in this community you're going to bump into somebody 30 years from now is going to say, "You were on that team. You guys had the world championship. You were champions. I remember that." And so thank you, on behalf of this township and community for adding those fibers into the fabric of this community, because that's what you've done. And I'm grateful, so grateful that you've done it. And so now I guess it's really my honor to introduce a coach who has probably weaved more into that fabric in the last 50 years than maybe anybody. And he's been instrumental in so many young lives and in helping them weave their stories that people are going to remember for a long time. And so I bring up Coach Fife.
Thank you, Paul. I'd first like to congratulate Sean Ryan for getting the job. On behalf of all the coaches, congratulations. Thank you. I'd be lost without my cheat sheet, guys. I didn't learn that at Michigan. I'm still trying to make sure my roommates in college from school know that Clarkston's not in the UP. And just because I had a southern accent, they called me, when I'd score a basket, they'd announce basket by Dan Country Fife. So that wore on me a little bit. But I think we finally brought Clarkston to the forefront in athletics in the state. So in more ways than one after this year. At this time, I'd like to introduce our players. Max Anderson. Taylor Curry. Garrett Dellinger's not here, is he? He's lifting weights for football. Tyler Houston. Jake Jensen. Thomas Kithier, Foster Lawyer, Damon Mills Bradley, Tristan Meissen, Matt Nicholson, C.J. Robinson, Henry Schimmel, and Chase Wasilk. Next, I'm going to introduce the kids we brought up for tournaments that already have put on the jacket to protect themselves from wearing the from getting shot from behind next year if we lose. The expectations have grown considerably for this group. Benjamin Donchez not here. Christopher Hoffman. Josh Luther. Josh hopes to be one of the first and long-time three-sport players. Plays baseball, football, and basketball. Denton Smith. And Trent Church. Blake Cozen. Did I get everyone? Connor McEwen. A youngster. Next, I'd like to introduce my coaches, Jack Nicholson. No, I'm sorry. Oh. Jack Cunningham. I'm sorry, Jack. Paul, it's 50 years for me, Paul. Tim Wasilk. And Eric Chambers. You know, I get name mentioned quite a bit, but I want to make sure all of you understand I couldn't do near what I do without my assistant coaches, especially as I've got older, not much older, but I really need their help and support, and they've done a great job with us and helped bring the state championships to Clarkston, so they're a vital part in that. Next, I'd like to thank Mary Ellen for putting this on to recognize all of us here tonight or today. I'd like to thank our administration, our school administration, Gary Call, our principal, who also is a former basketball player, Jeff Cozen, our new AD, and Amy Quayle, assistant principal, and Josh LeMay. You know, I talk when I talk with the teachers, and our teachers are also a large part of our success, because I don't think we could survive in our athletic program if our teachers don't do the job that they do in the classroom every day. They help keep the kids aligned and making sure they're getting grades, because ultimately that's just as important or more important than their athletics. So we appreciate all what they do for us. I'd like to. Is Mr. Maudie or Mr. Varn here? They were my high school coaches, and Mr. Varr was directly involved in hiring me as a coach here 36 years ago. Now I'd like to thank my team for all what they've accomplished in the 2 years here, most of these kids. I'm so amazed at the way they've handled the pressures and the expectations of everyone and wearing the bullseye on their back for 2 seasons. And everybody that we played, we know that they were going to give them their best shot. And for our kids to stay under control, because I would have been so nervous, I don't know what I would have done in those situations. So those kids looked out like, for 2 years, every game it looked like they were just in another practice. They kept it so under control. And I think a large part of that was so instrumental in our success was last year in 2017, about midway through the season, Foster Lawyer introduced the word family to our team, which they, out of every huddle, they repeated that word. And I think it led our team to believe that that they could accomplish and fulfill the dream of every past and present basketball player who ever played at Clarkson of not winning not one, but 2 state championships. And I thought that went a long way talking about family. And I think, you know, I've been here since 1957 and part of Clarkson, and I look at how Clarkson's grown, and the town really is a family. I think, you know, we all pretty much work together and believe in each other and do great jobs for our kids and want the same for all of our kids. And it's just a great community, and I'm proud to be a part of that. I'd also like to thank our fans and our families for all their help and support, the restaurants that help provide food for our kids, give discounts on our meals that our parents bought every weekend to our teams, to our fans that follow us. When we go on the road to play other schools, we never have to worry about a home team, because we oftentimes, in fact, 90% of the times, have more family or have more fans there than the other teams. So, and I'm sure we make more noise than the other teams do. So, and last, I just want to make sure the parents, how much I appreciate all they do for our program and their support, because if our parents don't buy in, our kids won't buy in. The fact that our parents buy into our program and are so helpful in all that we do off the floor with our kids and what they do with our kids to help keep them healthy. And we just appreciate the school and our team. We're going to miss these guys because most of them have been here for 2 years. And as I spoke to the young kids, the last kids I introduced, they do have a tremendous responsibility to live up with a big weight on their shoulders. But knowing the Clarkson kids, the way they perform and what they do on their own time is very important, because these guys, I never had to make them come to the gym. They always were in the gym. And I know when they're in the gym, when I don't have to make them, then it's easy to coach. And they've made my life, I can't tell you. I don't want to tell you. I'm sorry, crying. I'm sorry. Thank you all. Appreciate it. One more thing I can't forget to say. I don't know where, I'm sorry, my wife is. But I started dating her at 15, and we've been married 46 years this year. If any of you guys, if any of you women are married to coaches, you know that's pretty much impossible to hang with this. As I was telling some people today, the night before the finals this year, I don't sleep at night. I don't eat very well. I've got a good way to, anybody that has any idea or any want to lose weight, I know how to do it. Just start coaching. That'll help you. But the night before the finals this year, I woke up in the middle of the night yelling, Syracuse, Syracuse. And I just watched a Michigan State-Syracuse game, and State couldn't score against them. And I'm thinking, we didn't show that to our team. I'm worried our team's not going to be able to adjust if they do that. Dan, will you go to sleep? I don't care. So that's the story of a life of a Fife. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Coach. And I'd like to bring up Tom Middleton.
Thank you. And to tie in with what Paul was saying, last year we had Dan come to the Board of Commissioners to give him a plaque for winning the state championship last year. And the day after he won the state championship, his team won the state championship, I got a call. And this person said, "Are you going to do something for Dan Fife and the state championship team?" And I said, "Yeah, we're going to do a tribute and stuff." And he says, "I want to be there when you do that, because I was on the basketball team that Dan Fife was playing for the state championship, and I was at Pontiac High School, and we beat them, and I want to be there to talk to Dan Fife." So, as like Paul said, people don't forget those winning games and those games that you just lost a game. So, but now you can say for 2 years in a row we won that national championship or that state championship. I just want to join with the students, the faculty of Clarkston High School, the citizens of Clarkston, as well as the family and friends of these incredible student athletes, and congratulate the Wolves and Coach Fife on winning the 2018 MHSAA Boys Basketball Class A Championship. So, Dan.
Representative Tedder.
Well, it's certainly a great honor to be able to offer accolades to the team once again this year. And as I mentioned last year, I've known a lot of you probably from elementary years and certainly since middle school and beyond. To see you grow to young men, Noah, and all moving on to some very accomplished college careers. Really excited to watch all of you grow and to continue to advance. And you know, though I didn't play basketball, I would be remiss if I didn't say what an impact Coach Fife had really on every kid in the school, whether you were an athlete or just simply a kid that pursued other interests within school. Everyone knew Coach Fife. He had and maintains today just a quiet respect that just is very organic in who he is. And that's a very important secret ingredient, really, with the successes that his teams have achieved over the many years, culminating with this back-to-back state championship. So, again, on behalf of myself, Senator Marlowe, and Governor Snyder, we're really excited and proud. And I would also be remiss in saying that it's been an even greater joy to serve with my colleague that represents West Ottawa. You might have heard of that school a time or two this year. But no, certainly there's no question that Clarkston is on the map in many respects and many positive ways to celebrate. So again, to Coach Fife, all of the assistant coaches and the whole team, we're really excited and proud of your achievement. Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to bring up Andy Auclair from Max Preps, who would like to present us with an award.
All right, thank you. It's my privilege to represent MaxPreps.com. Max Preps has had the privilege of following high school sports for over 10 years and recognizing championship teams across the country. And of course, we're no stranger to Clarkston. We've been here twice for the football team. And so we're excited about back-to-back state championships for these Wolves. And these guys have dedicated themselves to excellence, and we recognize that. Our sponsors, the National Guard, are going to award the National Rankings Trophy. The significance of this award, Max Preps has a sophisticated computer ranking system that takes the statistics for teams across the country. Nearly 40,000 schools submit their statistics for their basketball program, and similar to what the BCS is for college, these computers take all these statistics, the strength of schedule, the margin of victory, all those items, and then spit out a ranking for your team, because obviously not every team could play every other team. And your Wolves this year, based on their statistics, ranked number 11 in the entire country of nearly 40,000 schools. So congratulations, good job. And we're excited to partner with the Michigan Army National Guard, and Sergeant Montague is here to award Coach Fife and the program with the National Rankings Trophy. Coach Montague.
Thank you very much. First off, I want to thank all of you for letting us come here and be a part of your celebration. As a soldier in the Michigan Army National Guard, I understand what it takes to be a winner. It takes outstanding leadership, it takes strong teamwork, and dedication to duty. And on behalf of the Max Preps Tour Champions and the Michigan Army National Guard, I want to present this trophy to you, Coach, for an outstanding season. Great job. Great job, guys. Thank you.
At this time, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce these individuals to my right, your left. I would like Kyle Hughes to come up and stand next to me. Kyle, is Dennis with you today? Dennis, come on over here. Before we begin with Team Rush, I'd like to give a shout out to Team 7693, the Tornadoes. They had a great season. Technados. Oh, there's a tornado right there. It's a Technado. They had a great season this year. They received the first place finalist Alliance Award and an invitation to the World FTC Championships, where they finished in the top 25% out of well over 100 teams. So shout out to the Technados. I'm imagining we're going to see some of you in yellow soon here, just a few years from now. We've had state championships before. No knock on you guys. But I do believe this is the first time Clarkston has ever had a world champion. That's right. That's right. Come on up here. Nobody can see you. Kyle and Dennis Hughes are with me here today. They put the first in FIRST Robotics because they are, ladies and gentlemen, the first family of robotics. FIRST stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. These words have never rang more true about Kyle and Dennis and all the tremendous mentors who have served this powerhouse program over the years. They've inspired hundreds of students, and with the 2018 World Championship under their belt, they've now achieved the recognition that this program has so richly deserved. And it should be noted, and I'm going to have to read on this, Team Rush is the first team in FIRST Robotics to win every major award in FIRST Robotics. So not only are they world champions, they're the recipient of the Woody Flowers Award, the Chairman's Award, the Dean's List Award, the Engineering Inspiration Award, and the Robotics Champions Award. Let's give a round of applause for that. That has never happened before. And if you know anything about the world of robotics, just achieving one of those awards is a big, big deal. Frank Merrick, Executive Director of FIRST Robotics, summed it up when he recently said, Team Rush has set the standard. With being so successful in every possible area of FIRST Robotics, Rush is truly the complete package and one all should be looking up to. It's my honor to introduce Kyle and Dennis Hughes.
You're stuck. Well, I have to tell you that this is a whole lot better than in 2014 when we won the Chairman's Award. And I called home and I said, we won. And they said, what do you want? And I said, a parade. And they said, okay, what time are you going to be here? And I said, 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So needless to say, we pulled in after a full day of competition. And I remember we slept on the bus all night. We came home, I think, from St. Louis. And our hair was off to one side. We still had our stinky clothes on from competing. And we had a police escort from the highway down to Depot Park, where we were very gently greeted. No one wanted to get too close because we smelled so bad. But very gently greeted by about 50 people who woke up to meet us at 7 o'clock that Sunday morning. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out today. This is pretty super awesome. I'm really glad that there is a description of what the color guard does, because a lot of you don't know what we do. So I'm just going to give you a brief review of what we do, and I'm going to make it short because we're a little ahead of schedule, and I know that my students normally don't go out in the sun, so they're all getting sunburnt right now. So I'm going to make this as quick as I can. Am I right? We're inside all the time. Okay, so in the spring, usually now, a year ago from now, we formed the team. We started fundraising. We ran robotics camps. We ran the Rush Regatta, which is a cardboard and duct tape boat race, which we hope to all see you at Deer Lake on July 14th this year. And our students also travel to Washington, D.C. to advocate on STEM, where our students are actually meeting with and talking to our elected officials on promoting STEM education. In the fall, we build the team and begin training, programming, machining, 3D printing. We clean up after the football game to continue to raise money. We present robotics all around town. All the Rush students also mentor younger kids in robotics. Over 200 kids in Clarkston were mentored by one of these kids this year in 1st grade through 9th grade in our competitive junior robotics leagues. In December, these students, that group, organizes and runs the entire Holiday Lights Parade. They encourage the entries to use STEM and so that we can continue learning about science, math, engineering, and technology. And that's not even our season. Our season starts the first Saturday in January. And the first Saturday in January, unlike the other programs up here, we are given a new game. I once had a conversation with Dan Fife, and I said, Dan, how would you like basketball to change the game every year so that the rules changed every year? And he looked at me and he said, no thanks. So every year we get a new game. This year, our game was to take those cubes and build a robot that could stack cubes on something called a teeter-totter. It's a switch. It's a scale. And so if you obtain possession of these, you get a point for every second you own one of the 3 out there. And long story short, we start the first Saturday in January, and we work from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Parents bring us meals. We don't leave the basement. We are there every day, all day on Saturdays, and this continues on until the World Championship. Our students work really hard for our community and our school, and right now I can't tell you what an honor it is to bring this home, this most prestigious award, the World Championship competition, to Clarkston. Now, to put this in perspective, there's probably over, I don't know the exact number, but there's over 4,000 plus teams in the world. There's over 508 in Michigan. Michigan is a death sentence in robotics when you go to the competition because it is the toughest competition. In fact, Michigan competition is known to be harder than the World Championship because we compete against each other all the time. So we have over 508 in Michigan. This team has been together chasing the championship for 22 years. Our motto is fail faster, learn more, focus and execute. We never give up. We've had over 24 second place wins. We lost by a point, a basket, a tube. We have been very, very close. But this year, ladies and gentlemen, we were able to bring it home. Now we want to thank Clarkston Schools. Gary and Sean, a year ago, you guys heard my plea, and you saw our mission for believing in bringing robotics to all kids in Clarkston. From first graders that program and build to the senior students who are off to college with incredible STEM opportunities, the new adopted Room 107 in Clarkston High School has become the Robotics Center for Clarkston. Thank you very much for doing that for us. I need to also thank our sponsors, some of our visionary partners like Borg Warner, Aptiv, McLaren, FCA, and Meritor as just a few, and all of our local establishments who support our team through the Rush Regatta and Holiday Lights Parade. We could not do financially what we do without your assistance, traveling to 5 different tournaments. I would like to now introduce the team. If you can stand when I call your name, please, and shade someone else. Jack Anderson. Garrett Bailey, Evan Bennett, Megan Finnerty, Tim Gerst, Brian Galowski, Ben Haas, Ethan Hayes, Grace Havel, Sydney Havens, Cody Hughes, Brandon Kirk, Madison McDonald, Brandon Massey, Carson Morris, Gabe Puzio, Logan Rahala, Jason Richards, Austin Schmitz, Drew Waite, and Gabe Ware. Captains, please come down. I would also like to thank our mentors, and I see a few more that have shown up. They couldn't get here until after work. I want you to know that our mentors are non-paid volunteers, and right now our mentor experience has over 100 years of experience, so if that gives you any clue. Dennis, I also need to say thank you to you. He always says that he is my wingman, and without you, we couldn't do what we do, so thank you very much. Mentors, Dale Schnepp, wave your arms. Ernie Watson. And I think I saw Jason Marcassino out there. If there's anyone else, I'm sorry I didn't see you when you came up. Team Rush is not just a robotics team, but a culture-changing team. We want all kids to have the opportunity to learn about STEM and new cutting-edge technologies. Through our camps, our feeder programs, the regatta and the parade, we hope to see you get involved with us. As Gary had already mentioned, according to the director of FIRST Robotics, we are the complete package. Clarkston High School has the complete package. Now, I want to thank you all again one more time from the bottom of our heart, from the last 22 years. And oh, where are our Strike Force grandparents? Way back there, wave your hands. They were the grandparents of our alliance from the World Championship, all the way back there. Thank you very much. Mr. Cole?
That's all?
That's all.
Okay.
They didn't want to burn them.
Good job.
Thanks, Gary.
And we have Tom Middleton.
Again, at the Board of Commissioners, they just can't believe that Clarkston keeps having all these winning teams, and especially the chairman of the board, Michael Gingell, who is from Lake Orion, and so it's I just have a lot of bragging rights. That's all, and I owe it to Team Rush and all the teams that we were representing today. And I just want to thank you for all what you do for us. And all the people here are proud of what you do. And you represent us very well. So thank you. Whoops.
And Jim Tedder.
Well, I've been a big fan and supporter of Team Rush for I think at least the better part of a decade when I used to work with Kyle at Clarkston High School. And it's just amazing what these young people do. It truly is inspiring. It gives great comfort in what our future holds for our young leaders of the future. Been to many regattas and extended a nominal amount of financial support over that time. And yes, I was even among the entourage when you came off that bus in 2014. And I like to your defense, I don't remember any terrible smell. Honestly, I don't. But what a great and exciting day to be named world champions. And certainly there was a really exciting time with the Chairman's Award just a few years back. But keep up the great work. You continue to inspire us here in this community and throughout the state and now the world. So congratulations to Coach Kyle and all of Team Rush 27.
And before I turn it over to Mr. Ryan, we do have one more group of individuals that I'd like to recognize today. The student team from the Oakland Technical Campus Northwest in the Culinary Arts program recently took 5th in the nation. And I'd like to recognize those individuals today. With us we have Juliana Sturtz. Stay standing. Madison Mumford. Gavin Goik. And Victoria Tenuta. Congratulations on your accomplishment, guys. Fantastic. And at this time, I'd like to give the microphone over to Mr. Sean Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Call. And just closing us down for today, first of all, what an amazing group of kids. If you thought to take this all in, wasn't it incredible? Thank you. Well done, all of you guys. Amazing. As far as our program today, in addition to Mary Ellen Rowe from Clarkson Schools, of giving her some appreciation again for planning this, we'd also like to thank the City and Village of Clarkston, Department of Public Works, Independence Township, Oakland County Sheriff's Department, and our downtown businesses for supporting our schools. It really is not possible without all you guys. Big round of applause, please. Thank you. As an example of this support, the Union Joints restaurants, Woodshop, Honchos, and Union have donated $250 towards our Destination Imagination team's trips to the Worlds. And the Fed, go ahead, thank you. And the Fed has generously offered to donate 15% of tonight's total proceeds to the DI team's fundraising efforts for the Worlds. Thank you. So stay downtown, eat dinner here, play in the park, recently upgraded by the Clarkson Area Optimists and the construction tech students, so a plug for them. And thank you all again, once again, for supporting our students and our schools. Have a great night. Enjoy this beautiful weather. Thank you.